Good morning and happy Friday. Welcome back to my garden. We're going to do a garden tour for the week because some things have changed and some things have grown. So let's get into it and see what's happening. Right here we have what was my compost bin. We'll get to that side over there later. Okay, walking in, we have this small pot that is green onions or spring onions that my 13-year-old uses a lot in cooking. And then over here there's chives that I've never actually used. They're just growing because gardeners grow chives, right? This side is hard to see with the sun the way that it is. I put in some stakes into the Romanesco cauliflower that are growing in there because they were starting to fall over onto the other stuff. But in there we have that row of kohlrabi down the middle, and then sprouted broccoli on one side and the regular broccoli on the other side. And they are growing and they're looking good. Got them covered up so the birds don't eat them. This here in the middle is, I sifted my compost, my entire compost bin. I got that bag full, and then there was another bag, but I used it. And I mixed in perlite so that it can be for my green stock. It's like a potting mix. Makes it light and fluffy and drainage and whatever. So that'll be going into my new green stock when I set that up in the next couple weeks, I guess. And then this one on the side is the flower bed with the nasturtiums starting to get nice and big. And there's volunteer nasturtiums in the walkway down here, which I'm letting them go because they're pretty. And then the sweet peas are starting to get tall and hang onto the trellis a little bit. And they can cover up the ugly AC unit, which will be fun. And then my basket of goodies that I need to take care of later. But there's always some extra stuff hanging out in the garden that is a project for future me. And future me loves me. This bed is the green beans. And then the radishes up front that still are not turning into radishes. But that's probably because the green beans are shading them. So they might turn into something eventually, or they might not. Their roots are looking kind of janky. I don't know. Green beans are starting to get flowers on them, which is great. We love green beans. And then on this side where the other radishes are, these are supposed to be 18-day radishes, and this is like day 30 or something crazy. So again, I'm not good with radishes, but I don't even like them, so I don't care that I'm not good at them. These peas on the back trellis are looking good. We'll get a better angle on them from the other side in a minute. I'm pretty sure the variety of peas is like Sugar Baby or something like that, or Sugar Bon. I'm not sure. If I can find the packet, I'll put words on the screen, but if not, it's a Sugar Snap pea. They're going to be yummy. These are my Metallica and Purple Rain tomatoes. And all of my tomatoes out here have been getting some weird leaves on them after the rain last week, but I think this one's actually starting to look a little bit more normal, so it was probably just the watering issue because they got too much water all at once, and now they are getting better. And then in this net, there's still that empty space back there that I'm going to fill with some seedlings that I have over on the porch. And then in here, if you can see through the net, that's my banana peppers. I've been considering pulling out that plant just because I like broccoli and brassicas more, and it will give me some good space, probably for kohlrabi or something, but I don't know. For now, it's staying. And on here, pardon my shadow, we have the kohlrabi that didn't get eaten and the 4 kohlrabis that did, but they're coming back. I need to fertilize real bad out here. And then my shishito pepper plant that is putting on peppers, which makes me very happy because they're delicious and I love them. And then up here we have Brussels sprouts, broccoli or Romanesco, I don't remember. And then Brussels sprouts at the back. This is the back side of that first brassica bed. And my snap peas are starting to climb up the trellis a little bit. We got a big old mushroom here. Apparently I watered too much. There were a couple of spots where the peas didn't germinate, and then there was that half of the trellis where I hadn't planted yet, so I planted those earlier this week, and it looks like they're starting to show their cute little heads. So there's some baby seedlings there, and then this whole front part here, I planted cilantro seeds and nothing's coming up yet, so we'll see what happens. Looks like over here, a bird or something got into those pea sprouts, so that's not cool. But these ones are okay, and the big ones are great, so we're good. This pot, while I was sifting my compost, I actually found some tulip bulbs from last year that I thought were going to be goners, so they were in the compost, but they survived, so I put them on this side of the pot. We'll see what happens. And then this side is volunteer of the flower that was in there last year. And one of them actually kind of looks like a pepper, so I don't know. I don't need the pot. We'll see what comes from it. That's my 2x2 bed of potatoes. Backing up, here's the green stalk. I pulled out the green bean plants that were in here because the ones on top were getting eaten by birds and the rest of them looked like they were getting diseases. So right now what we have is nasturtiums around the bottom, and that one was late bloomer, but it's coming. So all 6 pockets on the bottom have nasturtiums in them, and they're the bushing kind, so they shouldn't get much bigger out than the trellis will support them. Hopefully they don't vine all over the neighborhood. And then up on the 4th pocket, 4th layer, there are lettuce seeds in 3 of the pockets. Yeah, 3. And then everything else is not planted out yet. So I mentioned I got a new green stalk in the house, and it's only a 3 tier, and this one is a 5 tier. So what I'm going to do is take the 5th tier and stick it on top of the other one, and then I'll have 2 4 tiers, because just the height just is a little more manageable for me, and I don't know. I like the idea of them being the same height, but I don't know when I'm going to get that one pulled out. It's just chilling in my living room right now. Okay, over here is the big change. You ready? This is where the compost pile was, if you remember from the last garden tour. It is no longer a compost pile. This was an in-ground bed already, and I'll talk about that in a second, but I sifted out all the compost and I mixed perlite with it, like I said, but I filled this up with whatever was left of the compost pile. I just raked flat, so there's some bigger chunks underneath it, and then I topped it with some sifted stuff and a little bit of the perlite stuff. And I'm either going to make this a tulip bed or onions, or maybe some more broccoli and then still onions probably, but I don't know. It's just full and it's there. And then I moved this circle bed from over on the other side of the messy side yard where I tried to grow pumpkins in it last year. I filled it up over on this side, and I don't know what I'm going to put in it yet, but it's full and it's ready for whatever I put in it. So on this side, on this trellis here, there was a tomato plant here. It was getting eaten by some aphids and a lot of spider mites, and I didn't want to fight with it anymore, so I ripped it out. And yesterday I planted pole beans, which it might be too late in the season, but it's an experiment that I wanted to do. Planted some pole beans along the bottom, and if they grow and produce, amazing. If they don't, that's all right. It was an experiment, and I wanted to see what would happen. Here's a clip from yesterday. I did the rattlesnake pole bean and the Blauhild. Soaked the seeds in water for a few hours, and then I stuck them out in the soil. Off on the other side of this bed where the shishito and brassicas are, I put my 2 buckets of potatoes, and they are growing well. There's some Purple Viking and some grocery store organic yellow potatoes, and then another variety that I don't remember. It's a red something, red Norland maybe. I don't know. I'm not sure. But this pot is empty right now. This is going to be my garlic, and then I'll probably take out the dead lavender over here and put in some more garlic, because garlic takes a long time, and I may need to move my garden before the garlic is finished. because we might have to be moving the next few months. So yeah, so that'll be garlic, and that'll probably be garlic. That's my lime tree. He's just hanging out. He'll be happy if we do have to move, because I can put him in the ground and he'll be pretty. So potatoes, potatoes. This was from sifting the compost. I dumped all the extra compost stuff in here, and then I was clearing out a few of the, oh gross, do you see that? It's disgusting. We don't want to look at that. A few of the melons had fallen and gotten eaten by bugs and rats, and some of the vines were covered in aphids, and I almost ripped out the entire melon trellis, which wouldn't have made for a very pretty video. But the aphids on these leaves are gross, so yesterday I just sprayed the whole plant down with the jet stream on my hose, and if that didn't work, then I'll probably just rip the plants out, but I really would like to ripen the fruit first. But anyway, this pot here, before we get into the melons, is my jicama, and the flowers are just still beautiful. And I top dressed it a little bit with some compost for some fertilizing. And then up here, there's the melons that are taking over the top, and you can see a little bit of aphids on there, I think. These ones are some of the less bad leaves, just some aphids. But these are Kajari melon. There's 3 on there. Sorry for the angle of the sunshine, but I didn't raise the sun. These are supposed to scare birds away, and mostly they just freak me out because I'll see a reflection and I'll think it's a bug. And down here I have a snapdragon that I need to plant. I might actually stick it in some of the holes. I like making a bed out of cinder blocks because you can plant into the holes, so I might put some snapdragons in those holes. The cinder blocks came from this bed, so there's no more cinder blocks along the edge of the melon bed. And once the melons are done, I'm going to remove the soil and put down wood chips, and I'll probably put like pots and stuff over here, because I just need it to be more open, and that space in the back was not being used, so at least now it can be used. But here is a lot more visible melons in the melon trellis, because I removed some of the leaves that were in the way. So we have quite a few Kajari melons actually, and there's a whole bunch up there, and another one over on that side, and and another one up there, and then there's quite a few of these guys too. They're like a cantaloupe, but they're more crunchy. I saved the seeds from a grocery store melon, and I don't remember what the variety was. I could probably look at my notes and find out, but off the top of my head I couldn't tell you. But that one is mostly along this side, and there's a few little ones up there dangling down, and then there's that big one dangling down that I need to put into a hammock so that it doesn't fall and crush that. But that's a job for next week when it's not 85, 90 degrees outside every day. So that's the beautiful trellis. This is the back side of that melon trellis, and it is fruit fly and mosquito city back here. There's a big melon right there that I'm scared to check on. It might have gotten eaten open. Oh, there's a Kajari right below it too. If it's not eaten, I need to do something with it to stop it from being eaten, because roof rats in this area are kind of a pain in the patootie. But I love the beautiful green. And it looks like a lot of the aphids did get sprayed off in my spray. You can see all the leaves are kind of pushed that way because I sprayed it from this angle and everybody hung out that way. But yeah, the aphids don't look as bad as they did yesterday, so that might have worked. Maybe we'll be able to limp these fruit along until they're ripe. And then next to that is this orange bush that I like training oranges this way. I didn't do this, this was here when I moved here, but I like that it is short so that we can actually reach all of the fruit. Because over on the other side, there's a 15-foot tall orange tree that nobody can reach. This bed has the potatoes that we planted together. There's nothing coming up yet, but it's only been a few days, so we'll give them time. This is my massive asparagus that is falling over and taking up a whole bunch of space. And then a volunteer lantana that planted itself way back there by the wall and is overtaking this space too. So I've given up on trying to do anything in there, and it can have it. There's a little tomato plant in there. that is not doing very well, probably because it's getting a lot of shade, and I don't know. This one had leaf curl before we got heavy rain, so must be something in the soil, or maybe it's just the variety, because this one is the same variety and also has it. It's an Arctic Rose dwarf style. This one looks like it's growing a little bit more out of the leaf curl though, and that one still looks really bad. And this is my oregano in a pot that I need to come and harvest heavily so it doesn't go to flower, and I don't know, maybe it will go to flower. It could be pretty. I don't mind. Over there is the spicy pepper bed. The big ones are all jalapenos. And we're going to do a jalapeno harvest. Probably not today, maybe tomorrow. Maybe not tomorrow because it's Saturday. I don't know. We're going to do a jalapeno harvest soon because I want to pickle some jalapenos. Because we like our pickled jalapenos, and I don't have any on the shelf right now. Other than a jar from the store, and mine are better. This little one down here is my purple cayenne. And you can see off of some of the branches there's some peppers almost visible. But those are going to be dried and turned into crushed red pepper, but they're purple, so it'll be crushed purple pepper. I'll get a better angle on that. You can see some of those peppers in there. And then beds that are way too close together end up being storage for T-posts and tools. Anyway, that's a bell pepper. I've never successfully grown bell pepper, so the fact that this has peppers on it makes me very happy. This is a yellow monster, so we'll see how monstrous they actually get. One of the few that still has the label. The middle one there is a shishito that's really little, and that one is a blot, which is similar to, it's like a bell style, but it's smaller, I think. But it has a couple of peppers on there underneath. And they come in green and then they start changing fun colors. So it's a pretty cool one. And then inside of the net in that bed, we have Romanesco cauliflower, and a broccoli. No, Brussels sprout. This is the last Brussels sprout. I only grew 3. And then the rest of that is just the straw that we threw in there, and I never did anything with it. But I need to plant some more broccoli, which, again, I have the starts on the porch. I just haven't gotten them out yet. They feel too little to me, but I've seen other people plant them that little, so maybe I will. Over here is watermelon, and the vine is not looking very happy, but we are just trying to get this fruit, and then we can rip it out. There's a tendril in there. We're just waiting for the tendril to change. Oh, there's a cucumber beetle on there inside of the netting. Can you see that? No, that's a leaf. Maybe you can't. I don't know. It's right there. There's a cucumber beetle inside the netting on my melon. That is annoying, but my netting isn't very secure, so my fault. Here is the other side of the spicy pepper bed. And this tomato plant is looking terrible. I might just cut my losses on that, but I also probably won't because that's more work that I don't want to do. It just has leaf curl. I need to fertilize everything. I'm going to see if fertilizing helps some of these leaf curled tomatoes because they look really, really bad. This is a grande jalapeno that I planted in the fall. And that's an Anaheim that I planted in the fall. And then up here is a grande jalapeno that I planted in the spring, so it's had all summer to grow, and that's the way to go, I'm thinking. Down there's the other grande jalapeno that didn't get very big. Doesn't get very much sun because the big guys are in the way. But these guys are absolutely loaded. And I'm going to let the grande ones get big because I have something else in mind for them. But we have some pumpkin spice and some orange spice and some smaller peppers, smaller jalapenos that I'll pick them green and I'll pickle them. This is the poblano plant. I'm not sure I actually like poblano peppers. I canned some of them with my green chilies. They're pretty dang spicy, so they weren't exactly what I was looking for green chilies, but I don't know, maybe I'll make salsa with them. The plant's not going anywhere though because it's healthy and it's pretty. I moved my cactuses over here into this corner. One of them I'm pretty sure is very, very dead, but that's all right. This side, this is the hot pepper we were just in. This side is supposed to be sweet peppers, but they're just the not super hot peppers, I guess, which I don't grow super hot, but jalapeno is hot. And that's about the hottest I get. But anyways, these are Anaheim, and these roasted so well when we did that. Green chilies. They have a thicker skin. Or no, they have a thinner skin and a thicker flesh. That's what it was. These peeled really well. They canned really well. The Big Jim, on the other hand, these two big, huge plants here. And there's one here and one here. These are Big Jim. They tasted good, a good green chili, but they had a thicker skin and a thinner wall, so I didn't get very much actual fruit off of them. And in an effort to not waste so much of the pepper, I tried to dehydrate the skins to make a powder, but that ended up just being really spicy because part of it was poblano, and then just really bitter because it was roasted and had a bunch of burnt spots. So that went to the trash. Down here, this plant, I came down here and sorted these plants out yesterday because I didn't know what was what last time. This one says Ajvarski, so I'm trusting this one, this red one turning red, and then these ones up on this are labeled Ajvarski. This one that has peppers up here, this one is labeled as, actually I don't see a label. Oh, there it is. That one's also labeled as Ajvarski, and it looks a little bit different, so I don't know what's true. This one over here is labeled Lesia, and I think that one might be labeled correctly. But it also kind of looks, oh, that branch is coming from the one behind. Those are blot. Those definitely look right. So, oh, the Lesia label. Maybe that's this one. I don't know. They all got mixed up. These are all sweet peppers. They're going to be yummy. And climbing up this pole and getting taller along the pole, which I love. It looks like a jalapeno, but it's not. That's a nata pino. I used a few of these in a salsa this week, and it was so dang good. Put in a few of the real jalapenos, and they were very spicy, which is good because spicy salsa is good, but we added some of these to get just a little bit more jalapeno flavor without killing our throats. And then the last one in this bed is a Pippin's Golden Honey, and some of them are starting to turn. That one's really small, but as the weather cools, the peppers actually start getting bigger because they like the heat to grow up. They don't like the heat to produce. And then this pot down here is my ginger. This one I actually noticed is sprouting. I had chamomile in this one, and it went to seed, and apparently it's going to grow 500,000 chamomile plants. So that'll be fun. Mosquitoes are swarming my phone as I'm down here. That is my peppermint plant. It's coming back, and I hope it gets bigger because then I can use that to deter some mosquitoes. And then over here, we're at the back side of the lime tree, the dead lavender that needs to go. And then that netted area with those brassicas, and then there's some sprouts in there. I threw in some lettuce and cilantro seeds just in the empty space, and a couple of them have sprouted. I need to put in another line of drip irrigation down the middle of this bed because there's 2 on this side and 2 on that side, so the middle needs some more, but for now it's okay. I have it in the house, I just haven't gotten out here and done it yet. On this side is all of the snap peas, which I was a little worried with the netting, and rightfully so because they're attaching to the netting, but that's alright. They'll climb up, and then they have this string trellis that I made them to climb up. These are the 2 celebrity tomatoes that need to be attached to this side of the cage so they don't interfere with the peas because I care more about peas. This one's got a couple of flowers starting to come on. They're not open yet, but they're there. I do love that tomato plant smell though. When I touch these, they're great. There's lots of little buds forming. Hopefully we'll get a good few. There's some on this side too. Good few tomatoes mostly for my 7-year-old. He's the tomato lover. But Get these peas climbing up on the correct trellis and not on the netting. That'd be good. This side of the green beans is actually yellow beans that were planted a couple weeks later, but they look like they're keeping pace and starting to get flowers on them around the same time. So we're gonna have some green beans and some yellow beans. And then in this pot over here was my Jerusalem artichoke, which they grew well through the summer, and then they got killed off a little bit in some heat. So I just chopped them down, and then they started growing again when it cooled down. So maybe they'll flower this time. They didn't flower for me in the summer, but keeping those watered because they're not on the drip. These are not on the drip either. This is my sweet potatoes, and I've decided to not water them anymore. I'm going to harvest them probably next week. I think my plan was Halloween, but they're flowering and it's pretty. I got a couple flowers up here. So pretty. And then the leaves inside are turning a little yellow, but that's all right because I'm going to harvest them soon. Under here, if I dig a little, they're purple. You see some purple sweet potatoes in there. And they don't look huge. I don't mind. There's something in there and that's all I care. I've never grown sweet potatoes, so it's cool that it's working. So yeah, that's the sweet potato, and that's the main garden. And then over here in the side yard, this is the big orange tree I was talking about. We can't reach the fruit up there. So there's a bunch of dried out fruit up there. It's gross, but I do what I can and I don't do any more. But this is my Mexican sunflower hedge, bush, monstrosity. I don't know. It's beautiful, so I don't want to rip it out, but it's also very much encroaching on the walkway, so I need to do something. And back behind there, in this spot, was where that circle bed was with the pumpkins before I moved it. And now it's just a pile of dirt covered in this terrible, terrible grass that gets into everything. But yeah, those are my pretty sunflowers, Mexican sunflowers. They're going to reseed themselves and probably grow back every year, which would be wonderful for the next owner. Over here is my seedling trays. These are all going to go out into the garden in the next couple weeks. This whole tray is broccoli, so there's, 16 of them in there? This whole tray has 3 beets, 3 turnips, 3 collards, and 3 mustards, and then 4 kale, and it was a kaleidoscope blend, so a couple of them ended up being curly leaf, and a couple of them ended up being a flat leaf. But those will go probably mostly in the green stock, and most of the greens are going to be for my son's bearded dragons because we don't actually like greens like that, I don't think. Honestly, I've never even tried them, so I might like them, so we'll find out. But as of right now, the plan is those are for the lizards. And then up here we have rutabaga, which I've never tried, so naturally I grew 8 of them. And then purple kohlrabi, which I liked green, so I should like purple. And then over here there's the rest of my Romanesco cauliflowers that I need to find a home for. And then there's a couple of cups in there with a few onion seedlings. And over on this shelf, there's more seedlings, more onion seedlings. A lavender that I bought at Home Depot to replace my dead one that's out in the garden. And then this tray is onion seedlings from seeds that I saved from my garden onions that went to seed in the spring. So it's really cool that they all germinated and they're all looking pretty good, but I don't have room for that many onions. So it's a good thing my sisters both have gardens also. And then in here is my 7-year-old's experiment. He put in some strawberry tops, and this one's pretty cool looking because it's actually growing in a circle, like the shape of the strawberry top that he stuck in there. But he's going to be excited if those grow to produce. Thanks for watching. I hope you come back next time.